You see, this profession is filled to the brim with unrealistic goblins. Goblins who thought their ass would age like wine. If you mean it turns to vinegar, it does. I can't believe I wrote this stuff. It's just... All right, we're back.
Hi, welcome back. We are, as you know, we are big fans of goblins on this show, and we've done some pretty cool stuff with them. We did the Goblin Thracian Gladiator was our first episode, and we did a goblin version of the Polish Winged Hussar, and he's riding on a bear, and we'll put a link in for that episode as well. But we're doing another goblin cavalry type today, another pipe-hitting critter.
Yes, exactly. So somebody I think it was on Facebook, posted a picture of the oldest living German hussar at the beginning of World War I.
Yeah.
And he had this really cool costume on, this big fur shako hat. And I thought, if he was a goblin, he would look even cooler. So I had to paint him then.
Yes, of course.
Let's show everybody this Goblin Hussar.
This is the Goblin Hussar.
We're going to throw him up on the thing so you can see him better.
We're going to have to because he's green and the green screen
yeah,
is
that's
going to
right. The green screen's going to mess him up. Right? You'll see right through him.
Yeah, I got to do some magic. But yeah, and he's really cool, and the old German Hussar is such a fun picture, and it was colorized, the one that you showed me. And then to see this guy like this, an aging version of like these Goblin Hussars riding wargs or whatever they would be riding, dire wolves, and it was super cool. And then we were talking about this, and then you ended up playing this character in this campaign.
Yeah, he was I played him, and then I used him also as a non-player character.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my cousin Gabe came to visit. So hi Gabe. He came to visit from the Virgin Islands, and he wanted to get a D&D game together. And he was like, well, I want to play a Dark Elf. I was like, okay, well, Dark Elf's like kind of an evil character, kind of hard to get. He's like, I want to be a Dark Elf Assassin. I'm like, okay. A little tricky to write campaigns for evil characters, but, I came up with something that worked. So I got Brian and my other friend Brian together, and my brother Clay and Gabe, and I had everybody play as goblins or dark elves. And so the adventure was that some adventurers had come in. There was this mountain, and the goblins lived in the upper levels of the mountain, and then the dark elves lived down below.
Yeah.
And some heroes came in, and they had attacked the goblins and defeated, drove a lot of them off and looted the dungeon. And they took this crown from the Goblin King, and it was basically like a Burger King crown, but the Goblin King really wanted it back because he loved it. And the Dark Elves lived down below, in the Underdark, but the entrance to the Underdark is this mountain, and they sent a couple of their guys. So we had a Dark Elf wizard and a Dark Elf assassin.
Yes. And
the Dark Elf queen was like, you guys got to go and help these goblins get their crown back because we want to keep them happy because they're like a buffer between us and the humans. And then the Goblin King got my brother who played the Goblin Thracian, and you played this guy.
Yes, I played this guy.
We were playing Pathfinder, so he played him as a cavalier, which is perfect. And then you guys had to go find the adventurers that had looted your dungeon and fight them and get the crown back from them. And it was really fun. And then it was cool because I play in Brian's campaign, and this guy showed back up again later.
Yes, as an NPC.
Yeah. As the commander of the 13th Hussars.
The 13th. Well, see our second video.
Yeah, there's a whole other painting of this guy, so we'll talk about that one later. But yeah, it was a really fun. We did a 3-session thing, and it was really fun. And we looted you guys went and infiltrated the town and got your information on where these somebody could pass for human. So you could go in and get information, and then you found these adventurers and you ambushed them and you had this big battle. And it was really fun.
It was a blast. And also, I'm a big first edition D&D player, as you guys know. And goblins are always monsters. In Pathfinder, you can play a goblin character.
Sure.
And I thought, we should do that. So in my first edition D&D thing, I called Ben up and I'm like, hey, Ben, I want to play these goblins. He's like, well, let's take just a halfling and roll him up as a halfling and just turn him into a goblin.
Yeah.
And then introduce goblins to the world of men. And I thought, well, that's a good idea. So in the last, 3 months, we've been using goblin characters too in the D&D adventure. And it's been a hoot.
Yeah, and it's really good the way that you've been doing it because they've been followers. So we've been playing your adventure for, almost, I want to say a couple of years now.
Yeah, a couple of years now.
And so our characters are up, like my guy's at like 6. We got a couple 8th level characters. But we met this guy, I can't remember what his name was.
Gorm.
Gorm, that's it. Mm-hmm. And he's got some of his guys with him. And we were allowed to take goblin followers, but the followers are all first level. So, one of them got...
One of them got eaten last week.
Our friend Brian, he got killed, and then I'm a cleric. I'm a neutral cleric, so I animated the dead goblin as a zombie, and then he got killed again. So
he got killed twice in one game.
Yeah, he got killed, he got made undead, and then he got re-dead again.
Re-dead?
Yes.
Yes, that's a... Look that up in the in your dictionary.
And then so that was super fun. But you had to kind of protect these guys because one hit from these trolls we were fighting.
Because the trolls were pretty powerful.
Yeah. Wow, they were they were whacking out all these goblins left and right. So.
Yeah, 5 of them got killed in that one battle. Yeah.
Yeah. But a hussar works well for goblins because a hussar was traditionally light cavalry. Mm-hmm. So a spear and a curved sword, a saber.
And some kind of riding beast.
Yes, some kind of riding beast. And yeah, it was just a fun setup. And like Brian said, even in Pathfinder, probably some of these other games, they might not allow you to play goblins as player characters. But, we were using the stats for halflings. Because similar size, smaller size character, a little bit more dexterous. There's a lot of crossover between what the halfling is good at and what a goblin would be good at. And so, just roll up halflings and skin them as goblins. Like, why not, right?
Yeah, and that was our whole thing, is reskinning old characters or old monsters and make something kind of new out of it. And Ben and I do that quite a bit, and we'll be throwing up more videos about kind of reskinning things and... Yeah,
we got a good one coming up next week. It's the mount for this guy, and
you're gonna love it.
You're gonna like it. So stay tuned, and we'll see you then.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Thanks, guys. So you have all of these cool cards with all the different Napoleonic uniforms and stuff on them, and those all came out of these books.
Yeah, and it's a company, Europa Militaria, and Ben, why don't you show them? And they have a whole bunch of different kinds. I have a samurai one, I have a Viking one, and they're reenactors that dress up in authentic costumes and they take photographs. These are excellent source material. Yeah,
really, really good. And tons of full color pictures in here. And the reenactors take this stuff really seriously. Like my dad's a Civil War reenactor, or was for 30 years. And these guys, like, they take it real seriously. Everything has to be accurate down to the unit and the, the type of gear they were wearing.
Stitching on their clothes. I mean, that's how.
Yeah, little stuff where it's like, oh, you wouldn't have had a yellow stitch here if you were infantry. Just like so. This is really cool because these uniforms are great.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And they give you tons of really cool information about the different units and the different equipment that they would have carried and weapons and everything. And it's a great source material, sounds like, for you finding the uniforms that you want.
Yeah, and it's also a great source material for, and again, they have different themes. There's a Roman one, too, that I have. And it shows the armor and equipment and things to give you ideas for your D&D adventures.
Yeah, ideas too, like different types of equipment that they would have carried that you wouldn't think about. Like, oh, this is a thing that they used for campfires, and it's not a weapon, it's not an armor, but it could be a cool magic item that you wouldn't have thought about before because you don't think about what these guys are doing when they're not fighting.
When you're not crawling around in a dungeon.
Right, yes.
Yeah, with monsters chasing you.
Yes.
Yeah, we thought you guys would like this, and because Ben and I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why one of the reasons we're doing this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like this stuff for like painting figures, like painting like soldiers, like little miniatures and stuff. So I'm really into doing that, and so I love that kind of stuff, and having the different colors be correct is a big deal.
Yeah.
So
we think you're going to like it too. Check them out.
Thanks.